सुनने वालों को सिराज ज़ैदी का बहुत बहुत प्यार भरा आदाब, नमस्कार, good afternoon, and you're very welcome to the program, extremely welcome to the program, because today's program is packed with action as usual, and I'm here until 4 o'clock, and wherever you are in the world, in Amsterdam or in Amstelveen or New York or Delaware or whatever you're listening me in Dubai, Delaware to Dubai. That's a very good one, actually. Wherever you are listening me, and I'm going to introduce you some new friends today and some new information about what's going on in the world, because pretty good going on in the world, and the world is full of hope and all that, and I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to play some clips as well, and of course I will play very appropriately all the songs and everything. So sit back, relax, and we kick off with the program with the news item. And DSFM News is here with Charmaine Colvin. So Charmaine, you take it away, and I'll be back as soon as you finish the news. There you go.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. On India this week, the head of Britain's richest family, 𝐀𝐩𝐧𝐚 𝐑𝐚𝐲, has died aged 85. Known as GP, Mr. 𝐭𝐢𝐬 and his family made their fortune from the Indian conglomerate 𝐭𝐢𝐬 Group, which operates in 11 sectors, including finance, media and entertainment and oil. It has about 200,000 staff around the world. Mr. 𝐭𝐢𝐬 helped transform his father's modest textile and trading businesses into a global conglomerate and one of India's largest companies. Lord Karan Bilamoria, founder of Cobra Beer, said he would be remembered as someone who personified the links between India and the UK. Mr. 𝐭𝐢𝐬 and his family topped the most recent Sunday Times Rich list with a net worth of $35.3 billion. They also ranked 11th on the Forbes list of India's 100 richest business people in 2024. Mr. 𝐭𝐢𝐬 was the second eldest of 4 brothers who controlled the business for decades. It is not known who will now take over the leadership of the conglomerate. The youngest brother, Ashok, runs its operations across India, including truck maker Ashok Leyland. The 𝐭𝐢𝐬 conglomerate operates in 48 countries. A famed Hindu temple in southern India is embroiled in a scandal after the Kerala High Court said there was evidence that some of the idols had been stripped of their gold covering. Gold and silver plating of idols and temple figurines, mostly paid for by devotees, is common across temples in India. The theft at Sabrimala Shrine, visited by millions of pilgrims every year, has stunned the devout and made headlines. The Kerala High Court has set up a special investigation team. Police have begun an inquiry into the disappearance of gold, and 3 people, including a former assistant temple priest, have been arrested. A 2-judge bench that is monitoring the investigation has been holding regular hearings in the case since September, and the next sitting is on Wednesday. The current controversy centres around 2 idols of Dwarapalakas, or the door guards that stand just outside the sanctum sanctorum where the main deity sits. The court took up the case in September after a report by the court-appointed Sabarimala Special Commissioner revealed that the idols were stripped of their gold cladding in many places. A heist and plundering of gold is how the judges have described the case of the missing gold. The scandal has also led to a political row in the state, with the opposition parties holding protests against Kerala's communist government. About 5 kilograms of gold has been stolen, according to the leader of the opposition in the state legislative assembly. The court has expressed shock and observed that the officials are equally, if not more, culpable in the matter. Congress party leader Sathiesan and other opposition politicians have demanded that the state's Minister for Temple Affairs, V.N. Vasavan, take responsibility for the failure to protect the gods' valuables and resign. 2 different US courts have stayed the deportation of an Indian origin man who spent more than 40 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. Subramaniam Subu Vidam, 64, who was convicted of murdering his former roommate in 1983, was exonerated in October after new evidence surfaced in the case. but immediately after his release from prison, he was taken into custody by US Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who want to deport him to India. He is currently being held at a short-term holding centre in Alexandria, Louisiana, that is equipped with an airstrip for deportations. Last Thursday, an immigration judge stayed his deportation until the Board of Immigration Appeals decides whether to review his conviction in a separate drug case. The same day, his lawyers got a stay on his deportation from a US District Court in Pennsylvania. India's rapeseed planting is expected to hit a new high this year due to record Chinese buying of rapeseed meal and above-average rainfall that resulted in favourable soil moisture for the crop. As the country's primary winter-sown oilseed, the surge in rapeseed production is also poised to help India, the world's largest importer of edible oil, limit costly overseas purchases of cooking oils. Farmers made great profits from last year's rapeseed crop, so this year they're planting even more of it, said Anil Chatter, a leading trader based in Jaipur in the northwestern state of Rajasthan. The combined planting area for rapeseed and closely related mustard is expected to increase by 7% to 8% this year, he said. Indian farmers typically sow rapeseed in October and November. So far this year, they have planted 4.17 million hectares, a 13.5% increase compared to the same time last year. China aggressively began purchasing rapeseed meal from India after Beijing in March imposed a 100% retaliatory tariff on rapeseed meal and oil imports from Canada, its top supplier. In the first 6 months of the current fiscal year, which began on April 1st, China imported a record 488,168 metric tons of rapeseed meal from India, compared to just 60,759 tons for the entire 2024-25 fiscal year. A rodent-borne virus led to the death of the only African elephant at the zoo in India's capital, Delhi. Shankar, a 29-year-old male, died on the 17th of September after spending much of his life in isolation. The cause of his death wasn't known at the time. Now, an autopsy has revealed that the elephant tested positive for encephalomyocarditis virus, EMCV, Delhi Zoo Director Sanjeev Kumar said. EMCV is known to cause fatal inflammation of the heart and sometimes brain fever in mammals. The virus is spread through rodent feces and urine. In 2012, Shankar was moved to a new enclosure that left him virtually in solitary confinement, despite a 2009 federal ban on keeping elephants alone for more than 6 months. He remained there until his death. And finally, congratulations to the India women's cricket team, who held their nerve under the weight of immense expectation to beat South Africa last weekend by 52 runs and clinch their first ever Women's World Cup. So that's all from me. You have been listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Thank you so much, Charmaine, for lovely items and covering a wide range of actually material from London to India and the Indian connection and the global Indian connection, should I say. Talking about the global Indian connection, that's what exactly I'm going to talk about it today, because obviously everybody is celebrating and in the mood of celebration since yesterday, since the grand results have come out from the New York, that the newly elected mayor, Zohrain Mandani, has been elected as the youngest and the first ever immigrant mayor of New York. Do you remember Giulio Rudiani and this awful man he was, and the kind of New York under him, and the kind of disasters which were going on? And since 9/11, in fact, if you think about it, New York has never actually saw the ray of hope. But today, people are celebrating, and doubly celebrating, because Zohrain Mandani, who is Zohrain Mandani? Everybody is talking about it on the radio. We heard here on RTE, we heard on some various different people. So let's hear from Zohrain Mandani himself, that who is he? And then I'll talk to you about, I'll fill you in then what he is and how he came about to become the first ever the mayor of New York. New York is New York. New York, as you know, that is the greatest city in the world, and America is recognized. The Broadway, the yellow cabs, the industry, film and television industry, and the theater industry, and of course, the greatest economic powerhouse of U.S. is New York. The stockbroking firms are there, the Nasdaq is there, and everything is in New York. And they say that once in a lifetime, you must visit New York to live and to live. I have some connections in New York that I'll talk about it in a minute. But first, let's listen Zohrain Mandani himself.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants. And as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up. Yes, that's my request to you as well. Because by turning the volume up, you would know exactly what's going on in the world. As Zohrain Mandani has been elected, as I said, the youngest mayor of New York. And in fact, quite a few states in Virginia and in many states, there are a lot of new candidates, young and aspirants candidates. So look up on the internet exactly who are the states which are winning and won the Democrats, and indeed it's the greatest news. So Zohrain Mandani, his mom and I met a few times. In fact, the first time I met her when I was in media school in Delhi, 𝐬𝐴 𝐈𝐴, when she used to visit us as a visiting professor, and she was in the media and film industry. At that time, I'm talking about in the 80s, the early 80s we're talking about. And she was a visiting professor. I didn't complete that course at all, actually. I left and come to London same year. But that's the first time. And then the second time I met her in Cannes when she won the Palme d'Or Award for her debut film called Salaam Bombay. Remember Salaam Bombay, the most prolific film that she produced and directed? That's where I met her we met in the lift, actually, of a Carlton hotel in Cannes. She may not remember me at all, actually. We're just passing by, and I said hello to her, and she said hello to me. And that was it. And she was a member of the jury at that year in Cannes. So she is a prolific filmmaker, director, producer, writer, and she has made several feature films, such as Mississippi Masala, Salaam Bombay, many other films she has made, and she's a mover and shaker in the film industry, in fact, independent sector. She's an independent filmmaker, and indeed managed to sort of raise Zohrain Mandani as a brilliant young man. Now, his father is a Ugandan professor from Uganda in New York, Mr. Mohammed Mamdani. So that's where he's, background-wise, they are all Indian, in fact. Zohrain's father came from a Gujarat estate. They are Khoja Shias, and his mother is, of course, Hindu by name, but whatever, their religion they follow. See, these days, religion is not a bone of contention. It's a matter of fact. Whatever God you believe in, whatever tradition you believe in, or you don't believe in, whatever the case may be, that's not an issue at all. But the point is that making in New York, a mayor is a staggering achievement. It's something that is really is powerful as that. And congratulations, Zohran, and congratulations, Mira, and to the whole family. So they'll be moving into the mayor's house in New York. That's fascinating. I mean, our humble, the mansion house in Dawson Street is pretty dwarf in front of that. But hey, it's not about that. What he says in the speech is that the way Donald Trump has been going so heavy on immigrants, and here as well in Dublin, that we are going crazy on immigrants, and we are sort of penny pinching, cutting down the money, the supporters of immigrants. See, the immigrants who are coming to any country is because they have no choice. New York is the city of immigrants, as he said in his speech. So is London. So is any capital city in the world. Why people move from A to B, why people leave their own city to settle down in different city is a big issue. And we've covered that topic about the phenomena of a free human movement from A to B. But it's not free. And the movement cannot be as easy as it sounds, because the immigrants have to suffer, and they face the authorities, and then sometimes they are subject to brutality, as the Donald Trump has been inflicting upon brutality on poor Mexican and to countries those people are get deported, including Indians. I mean, a few months ago, in fact, he deported a plane load of illegal immigrant from India. But listen, I mean, what is the problem? If the country is not big enough, I'll quote a small phrase from our scripture Quran, in fact, which says that in Surah Al-Nisa, which is called Women, says that when you die, and the angels will say, "Oh, you said I'm sorry, I was oppressed in my own country, in my own place." So the angels will ask him, the person, "Will the world, the earth, God's earth was not big enough for you to emigrate?" So emigration, hijrat, as the word called also in Urdu, hijrat is very, very highly recommended for people to move from A to B in order to improve themselves, in order to find a better life for themselves. If they can't get a job, if they're oppressed, if they are subject to, oppression, some are lucky enough to escape, some are not lucky enough to escape. But we won't go there. But for the moment, I will say that the immigration is the greatest thing, and New York has got a bright future to look up to. Not only New York, but the entire America. In fact, the world will be seen from a very different prism of light. I would say it's a ray of hope, and a light. We say that in our tradition, that umeed pe dunya qaim hai. Umeed is the word called hope. Dunya is a word, and qaim is staying. So the whole world stays on hope. And if you take the hope out from any system, it is highly, highly, highly recommended to be hopeful for something that you can achieve in the future. Now, how he has achieved that, I mean, it was not an easy task. He had a great fight. He had a great campaign, and he was supported by the New Yorkers, the taxi people, the blacks, the Muslims, the Americans. They're all Americans, and they all have votes. So, and there was no voting machines. That's the rub. So, Mr. Modi, are you listening there? So this is what it is. There is no fiddling going on in a fair election in a democratic state, any country in the world. And when you have a democratic state, like our election a few weeks ago, we have elected Catherine Donnelly, president here, and people were predicting all sorts of things against Catherine. Now, Catherine has become the unusual president of Ireland as well. So there you go. I mean, there is a window of opportunity, there's a chink of opportunity for anybody who is conscious-wise, whose mind is conscious about people, who's serving people, who like to serve people, who wants to work for people, and who is the people's person, because you have to be the for people who are underprivileged, people who need attention. That's politicians' work, is to support them, to work for them, and things like that. Talking about that, we also lost last week. In fact, this week, Sister Stanislavsk, locally known as Sister Stan, she was a prolific nun who worked for the poor all her life, Sister Stanislavsky. And Stanislask, in fact, it's a Russian name or whatever it is. I don't know the details, but check it out. She passed away peacefully, 84 years of age, in her residence, in her nunnery. And she worked for the poor. So my condolences goes out to her. And indeed, a lot of good news for New Yorkers, for Americans, overall in general. And he's looking beyond America, in fact. He's also making references to the people who are in the prison without any charges in India, Omar Khalid particularly, and things like that. So I think his election will create a wave in India, because Mira Nair is Indian, his father is Indian, who travels to India regularly, attending literary festivals and things like that. And of course, Mira Nair is a prolific and accomplished filmmaker. So there you go. So I have another item to talk about it, and that is the next election that is going to take place in Bihar. Because as you know, those who are following the election in Bihar is one of the poorest states beside UP, and the election there is marked by some sort of fiddling and corruption, and I'll tell you about it. Because a lot of people are saying that Nitish Kumar, who he's an old-timer Bihar chief minister, is shaking hands with Modi government, and in fact bribing people, literally bribing people, sending money in their accounts to buy the votes. But let's sit back, relax, and listen to what Sharad has to say.
So Bihar goes to polls today for its assembly elections. And there are 243 seats to be contested with some 1,300 candidates. It is an important state election because Bihar, as usual, is consequential to the national politics. It is the second largest state by population, and by area it is the 12th largest state of India. Although it is 14th largest in GDP, but the kind of economic situation the population witnesses is not the true representation of the size of GDP. Almost 58% of the population of Bihar now is below 25 years of age, and it actually gives a highest proportion of young people in any state in India. As we know, Bihar has a very rich history. In fact, it is the center of Indian civilization. It is the center of Buddhism. And not many people know, Vajji is supposed to be world's first republic, which dates back as much as 6th century BCE, that is before the birth of Gautam Buddha. So it has a very rich political history, cultural history. It has a significant role to play in the Hindu epic of Ramayana. We also see an important part Bihar played in the Indian national movement. Today, Bihar faces serious economic issues, social issues, developmental issues, and as far as democracy is concerned, there are many aberrations that the state of Bihar faces. Today, in our guest room, we have Ravinder Singh Sheoran. He is editor of The Fourth Estate. He is a political expert and a journalist with 2 decades of experience in the field of politics, elections, laws, and policies. His focus is on critiquing Indian electoral processes and government actions. So like a true journalist, he does question the government policies and their action. He has done commentaries on pollution, regional politics, has a good following on X, formerly Twitter. It's a pleasure to welcome him, and today we will be discussing the real issues of Bihar on the eve of its elections. In the language of comfort, we have discussed the issues in Hindi, and the long form of the interview is available on the YouTube channel of Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. तो रविंदर जी, ये बिहार इलेक्शन कब से है और इनकी क्या तारीख है?
देखिए, बिहार इलेक्शन का तो तारीख आ गई। 6 तारीख को पहला चरण की वोटिंग है
जी।
और 11 तारीख को दूसरे चरण की। 2 चरणों में इस बार वोटिंग हो रही है और 14 तारीख को चुनाव के नतीजे घोषित हो जाएंगे।
अच्छा,
ये पहली दफा है जब इतने कम चरणों में वोटिंग हो रही है। इसके पहले जो आखिरी बार लास्ट टाइम जो इलेक्शन हुआ था 2020 में, उसमें 7 चरणों में वोटिंग हुई थी। तो इस बार ये घट के 2 चरण में हो गई है, 2 फेजेस में। जी, नतीजे 14 तारीख को आएंगे।
इसका कोई कारण है?
कारण तो कोई कारण नहीं है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने, जब हमने पूछा था तो उन्होंने बताया कि धीरे धीरे जो सिचुएशन है वो अच्छी हो रही है। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का जो इशू था वो शायद हम लोगों ने टैकल कर लिया है और तैयारियां बड़ी अच्छी करी हैं, तो इसलिए हम लोग 2 फेज में इलेक्शन कर रहे हैं।
लेकिन चुनाव में जो इलेक्शन कमीशन है, इसकी भूमिका भी बहुत कंट्रोवर्शियल रही है। इसका क्या चुनाव पे सीधा असर पड़ेगा?
देखिए, इलेक्शन कमीशन तो अपनी साख जो है, वो साख का सवाल है। उन्होंने तो अपनी छवि बहुत खराब कर ही ली है और इस इलेक्शन से नहीं, बल्कि हम तो 2024 और उसके पहले से भी देख रहे हैं, लोकसभा चुनाव के पहले से इलेक्शन कमीशन का जो काम करने का तरीका है बहुत ही खराब है और निष्पक्षता उसमें बिल्कुल नहीं है। बहुत ही एम्बिग्विटी के साथ इलेक्शन कमीशन काम कर रहा है।
तो ये बड़ी खतरनाक बात है और देश की राजनीति के लिए और देश के संविधान अगर खतरे में है तो जनता का अगर भरोसा नहीं है, संविधान में भरोसा है लेकिन संविधान लागू करने में भरोसा नहीं है। और खास तौर से बिहार,
थोड़ा सा आपसे मेरा विचार अलग है। संविधान में सबका भरोसा है
जी, वही
संवैधानिक संस्थानों में सबका भरोसा है, लेकिन जो लोग उनको चला रहे हैं उन पर भरोसा टूट रहा है लोगों का। जिस तरह से ज्ञानेश कुमार और उनके पहले राजीव कुमार थे, ये लोग बहुत ज्यादा पार्टीजान लोग थे और ये किसी का पक्षपात करते हुए साफ तौर पर हम लोगों ने इनको देखा। देखिए,
तो इसमें एक और पहलू जुड़ गया है। मैं ये द इकोनॉमिस्ट की एक 2004 की रिपोर्ट देख रहा था और उस पत्रिका में लिखा हुआ है कि बिहार भारत की सबसे बुरी स्थिति का पर्यायवाची शब्द बन गया है और यहाँ पे व्यापक गरीबी है, भ्रष्ट राजनेता हैं और माफिया और राजनेता में कोई अंतर नहीं है और इन दोनों में वो एक जाति आधारित व्यवस्था भी बन गई है और ये जो पूरा समीकरण बन गया है, बिहार इसका एक जीता जागता एक स्वरूप है। तो अब उसमें ये इलेक्शन कमीशन की भूमिका भी जुड़ गई है।
देखिए, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ शरद जी, जो हमने पहले जवाब दिया कि चुनाव आयोग का जो काम करने का तरीका है वो बिल्कुल पक्षपाती दिख रहा है, विजिबली पक्षपाती है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने जिस तरीके से एसआईआर की पूरी प्रक्रिया को कंडक्ट किया, यहाँ पर जो स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिवीजन थी उसमें लोगों के नाम काटे, वो बिल्कुल पारदर्शी नहीं रहा। उसके बाद वो मामला अभी भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चल रहा है। हाँ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसआईआर का मामला चल रहा है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो मामला है वो अभी भी लंबित है, उस पर कोई फैसला अंतिम नहीं आया है। लेकिन एक आप जानते ही हैं कि एक जजमेंट के आने से पहले कई बार कई सारे ऑर्डर्स आते हैं। उन ऑर्डर्स पर भी हमने देखा कि हिला हवाली करते हुए इलेक्शन कमीशन काम करता हुआ दिखाई दिया। चुनाव आयोग स्पष्टता से काम नहीं कर रहा था।
तो ये जो बिहार में आज स्थिति दिख रही है, ये अन्य राज्यों में भी होती है? महाराष्ट्र में इलेक्शन हुए या हरियाणा में इलेक्शन हुए तो वहाँ पे भी ऐसी घटनाएं होती हैं जहाँ गाड़ियाँ के काफिले चल रहे हैं और भ्रष्टाचार का पूरा रूप दिखता है इन चुनावों में। तो ये बिहार अलग है क्या किन्हीं और राज्यों से?
देखिए, बिहार बिल्कुल अलग है, लेकिन ये कहना कि बाकी जगह पर गाड़ियां कम दौड़ती हैं, ये थोड़ा सा गलत होगा। इलेक्शंस में पैसा बहुत यूज होता है और वो केवल एक बीजेपी करती है ये भी नहीं कह सकते। वो हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी यूज करती है, सारी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज अपना खूब पैसा यूज करती हैं। लेकिन चुनाव आयोग की जो मशीनरी है वो किस पर कार्रवाई करे। अब कल की एक रिपोर्ट है, मैं बताऊं आपको, उसमें बताया गया है कि करीब 109 करोड़ रुपए कैश और काइन पुलिस जो है अलग अलग एजेंसीज ने पकड़ा है बिहार चुनाव में। अब कैश, उसमें से करीब 10 करोड़ रुपए कैश है और उसमें लीकर है करीब 47-48 करोड़ रुपए की लीकर पकड़ी गई है। कुछ ड्रग्स पकड़े गए हैं और कुछ दूसरा सामान है। इस तरह मिला के 100 करोड़ के ऊपर का कैश और काइन सीज किया। तो जब इतना भारी भरकम अमाउंट सीज किया जा रहा है तो सवाल तो ये उठेगा ना, वो है किसका पैसा? वो किसी नेता का ही तो होगा ना, किसी कैंडिडेट का ही तो पैसा होगा। तो जब किसी कैंडिडेट का है, किसी नेता का है, किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का है, तो उनका नामांकन रद्द क्यों नहीं हो रहा? उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं की जा रही है?
तो उसी पे ही अगला मुद्दा ये भी आ रहा है कि एडीआर की रिपोर्ट है कि फेज़ 1 में तमाम कैंडिडेट्स हैं, लगभग 26% फेज़ 2 में और 27% फेज़ 1 में उम्मीदवारों के खिलाफ गंभीर आपराधिक मामले हैं। तो ये सब आपस में जुड़े हुए हैं और ये बार बार 2004 की द इकोनॉमिस्ट रिपोर्ट की तरफ ही इशारा कर रहे हैं कि वो बात जो उन्होंने पाई थी वो अभी भी 20 साल के बाद अभी भी वैलिड है, सही है।
बिल्कुल वही है, बल्कि मैं तो कहता हूँ थोड़ी सी और ख़राब हुई है सिचुएशन, जो है वो और ख़राब हुई है। जो एडीआर की रिपोर्ट जिसकी आप बात कर रहे हैं
जी,
उसमें अपने 415 जो कैंडिडेट्स हैं वो क्रिमिनल केसेस हैं जिनके ऊपर,
जी, जी।
और 341 कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनके पास तो सीरियस क्रिमिनल केसेस।
हाँ, ये सीरियस क्रिमिनल केसेस के नंबर्स हैं। हाँ जी।
और 562 लोग करोड़पति हैं, 43%, और 3.44 करोड़ एवरेज एसेट है वहां पर कैंडिडेट्स की। तो जो बिहार आज देश में सबसे कम पर कैपिटा इनकम बिहार की है,
जी,
हालांकि बढ़ी है, पिछले सालों के मुकाबले में बढ़ी है, लेकिन बावजूद उसके सबसे निचले पायदान पर है बिहार। और उस बिहार में जो कि पर कैपिटा इनकम में सबसे कम है, उस बिहार में अगर करोड़पति उम्मीदवार है 43% एसेट्स जिन्होंने अपने डिक्लेयर किए हैं, और एवरेज एसेट जो है 3.44 करोड़ है। तो आप देखिए कितना ज्यादा धनबल का उपयोग उसमें हो रहा है। जितने जो बाहुबली हैं या गुंडे हैं उनको संरक्षण दिया जा रहा है, और इसमें कोई राजनीतिक दल कम नहीं है।
और इनके आपस में मुद्दे कितने एक जैसे हैं या कितने विभिन्न हैं इनके मुद्दे?
देखिए, मुद्दों पर तो बात जो है वो करना ही नहीं चाह रहे ना। ये आज जो सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी है वो तो चाहती है कि मुद्दों पर बात करोगे तो जाहिर है 20 साल का आपका रिपोर्ट कार्ड भी मांगा जाएगा, और वो चाहते नहीं है मुद्दों पर बात करना। लेकिन जो मैनिफेस्टो की अगर आप बात करना चाहते हैं तो वो तो देखिए एक जैसे ही है मोटा मोटी। वो महिलाओं को पैसा देना, रोजगार, शिक्षा, ये उसमें तो ज्यादा अंतर नहीं है किसानों के लिए। लेकिन प्रश्न तो ये खड़े होते हैं कि 20 साल से जो सरकार सत्ता में है वो सरकार कितना काम कर पाई, उसका रिपोर्ट कार्ड लेने का जो समय है वो कब आएगा।
और असली में बिहार के मुद्दे क्या हैं?
देखिए, असली मुद्दे तो यही है कि पलायन बहुत बड़े लेवल पर वहां पर होता है। सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा पलायन है, दूसरा बेरोजगारी है, शिक्षा है, गरीबी है, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन नहीं है, महिलाओं की स्थिति जो है, ये तमाम ऐसे इश्यूज हैं जो बिहार में आज से नहीं है, बहुत लंबे समय से। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खराब है, ये सब चीजें जो है मिलजुल कर आज भी आप देखेंगे शरद जी, तो देश के किसी भी कोने में आप चले जाएं, आप अपनी मर्जी से हिंदुस्तान के मैप पर आप अपनी उंगली लगा दीजिए और आप पाएंगे कि वहां पर आपको मजदूर जो मिलेगा वो बिहार का मिलेगा। हर जगह पर ये स्थिति क्यों? क्योंकि इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन नहीं हो पा रहा है।
अगर राजनीतिक समीकरण देखें तो अपोजिशन में तेजस्वी यादव की पार्टी है आरजेडी और उनका गठबंधन है। मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि तेजस्वी यादव भी उप मुख्यमंत्री थे 2 साल करीब, तो वही घूम के चुनाव अगर जीतते हैं तो उनसे भी क्या उम्मीद लगा सकते हैं हम बिहार के परिवर्तन के लिए?
देखिए, तेजस्वी अपनी जो उपलब्धियां हैं उसमें गिनाते हैं कि 17 महीने की जो उनकी सरकार थी उसमें उन्होंने रोजगार काफी पैदा किए, ये बात वो कहते हैं, और युवाओं के लिए उन्होंने काम किया। अपनी उपलब्धियों में वो ये बातें गिनवाते हैं, लेकिन साथ साथ वो जब ये बातें कहते हैं तो उनके ऊपर एक जंगल राज का तमगा भी चस्पा करने की कोशिश की जाती है सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी की तरफ से, कि आपकी जो सरकार 15 साल थी तो उसमें अंधेरा युग था और लालटेन का युग था। तो ये सब चीजें तो देखिए हम लोग देख रहे हैं।
उनकी पार्टी के ऊपर जो ये चारा घोटाला है पिछले 25 साल से चल रहा है और कोर्ट में तमाम मुकदमे भी चल रहे हैं, तो ये इसका असर होगा? लोग अभी भी याद रखते हैं कि भूल गए हैं चारा घोटाला के बारे में?
नहीं भूले नहीं उसका, लेकिन लोग भूले या ना भूले का सवाल तो बाद में आता है। पहला प्रश्न तो ये है कि उनको भूलने दिया जा रहा है कि नहीं भूलने दिया जा रहा। लोग जो है, बीजेपी पूरी कोशिश यही कर रही है कि पूरा इलेक्शन का कैंपेन जो है वो जंगल राज को केंद्र में बना के किया जाए, और बिहार का जो पूरा ओपोजिशन है उसको उसी पर फंसाने की कोशिश की जा रही है। तो जाहिर है राजनीतिक तौर पर तो वो इस मुद्दे पर का जवाब देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, और बीजेपी या एनडीए गठबंधन उसी मुद्दे पर बार बार अटैक कर रहा है। तो वहां पर अपने आप को वो थोड़ा सा वीक पाते हैं, नो डाउट, क्योंकि लालू यादव को सजा भी हुई है, और तो जाहिर है थोड़ा सा विकेट तो उनका वो स्टिकी है।
एक और इस चुनाव में मैं उम्मीद कर रहा हूं कि जेन जी की कोई भूमिका होगी। आपको दिख रहा है कोई बिहारी जेन जी?
देखिए, जेन जी का मतलब यहाँ तो बेरोजगार है, जो पढ़ा लिखा युवक है, जो बेरोजगार है, जिसको नौकरी नहीं है, जो पलायन करने के लिए मजबूर है,
जी।
वो जेन जी के श्रेणी में हम लोग उसको रख सकते हैं कि वो लोग परेशान हैं कि हम लोग अब क्या करें फ्यूचर में, क्योंकि हम लोगों को अपना शहर, अपना प्रदेश छोड़ना पड़ रहा है और दूसरी जगह पे जाके नौकरी करनी पड़ रही है। ये तमाम इश्यूज हैं। हम लोग जो चर्चा तो करते हैं, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली जब वोट पड़ता है, वोटर जब बूथ पे जाता है, तो उसके जहन में क्या सवाल होते हैं, किन मुद्दों पर वोट डाल देता है। अब जब इतनी लीकर पकड़ी गई है तो कहाँ गई है
जी?
अगर इतनी शराब पकड़ी जा रही है तो वो सारी तो पकड़ी नहीं जा रही है, वो कहीं ना कहीं तो जा रही है ना, वो कहाँ गई है? जाहिर मतदाताओं के पास ही पहुंच रही है। इलेक्शन कमीशन जिसको ट्रैप नहीं कर पाया।
ये हम मुद्दों की बात
है, तो ये भी तो एक बड़े इश्यूज है ना, जो कि कारपेट के नीचे से हम लोगों को दिखते नहीं है, पर वो भी इलेक्शन को शेप करने में कहीं ना कहीं अपना योगदान देते हैं। जी,
ये जो गड़बड़ी है ये लोगों को नजर आ रही है?
लोगों को नजर आ रही है, लेकिन बात फिर वही है ना, इश्यूज तो सारे हैं शरद जी, लेकिन इश्यूज पर वोट तो पड़े। वोट तो जो पड़ते हैं वो पड़ते हैं जाति के आधार पर। अगर इशू बेस्ड वोटिंग होगी कभी इस देश में, फिर तो आप देखेंगे कि बहुत सारा परिवर्तन हो ही जाएगा।
तो क्या वोट चोरी भी महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा बनेगा इस चुनाव में? वोट
चोरी, बिल्कुल वोट चोरी तो देखिए बड़ा इशू है ही है, और उसी के लिए एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट्स कर रहे हैं जो अपोजिशन पार्टीज हैं।
और मेरा ये मानना है कि बिहार हमेशा से तो नहीं, कभी जो मुझे ऐसा हमने पढ़ा है कि बेस्ट गवर्न स्टेट हुआ करता था इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद हमारे, और अभी ये बीमारू स्टेट में आता है, और अभी भी इसमें परिस्थितियां बदली नहीं हैं ज़्यादा। इसलिए और भी महत्वपूर्ण हो जाता है कि चुनाव आखिर कर क्या रहा है। अगर चुनाव हो रहा है और लोग मतदान कर रहे हैं तो किस चीज़ के लिए कर रहे हैं, कि अगर परिस्थितियां बदल ही नहीं रही हैं, ना आर्थिक, ना सामाजिक, ना महिलाओं के लिए या पलायन के लिए, तो क्या ये सही में लोकतंत्र का मॉडल काम कर रहा है क्या भारत में? तो ये बड़े बड़े सवाल आते हैं, फिलोसफिकल सवाल हैं, कंसेप्चुअल सवाल हैं, और चैलेंजिंग सवाल हैं कि लोकतंत्र बिहार जैसे प्रदेश में परिवर्तन क्यों नहीं ला पाया। और उम्मीद यही करते हैं कि परिवर्तन हो, अच्छे के लिए परिवर्तन हो, और जो सही के मुद्दे हैं वो उस पे बिहार की जनता अपना मतदान करे, और नेता वही हो जो सही परिवर्तन लाए। पार्टी विशेष मतदान हमारे भारत में होता है, लेकिन मुद्दा विशेष मतदान ये हमारी जनता को सीखना चाहिए।
Dublin South FM. You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bmediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE. 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed, 93.9 Dublin South FM, and welcome back to the program. And thank you so much, Sharad, for covering the situation in one of the poorest and one of the unemployed state of India called Bihar. Bihar has been known for its prolific people, talented people, intelligent people, and sometimes you'll see that. But what is going on is heartbreaking, and I hope that the Election Commission would do the justice and would do the best they can, honestly, whoever votes it, for the best party. Otherwise, as your guest was telling me, that it's an entire apparatus, the machine of Election Commission, and bribery, and of course the blatant bribery of cash shoving into people's pockets and people who are actually going to take over. And that is the modus operandi for a lot of states when it comes to the election. But anyway, we'll wait and see. What a contrast from New York to Bihar. And this is what I always try to cover as a contrast as possible, that people would make up their mind. And well, I mean, New York is New York. I mean, it's a civilized in a sense that education is widespread in this America, United States of America, one of the developed country in the world, and all that. By the way, talking about the America, there are a lot of good companies who are working with the help of India, in fact, buying the raw material of a product. There are pharmaceutical companies who are developing, and such company also exists in Delaware. And one of the staffs of Delaware recently were in touch with me, Lauren Andrews, and Lauren was in touch with me and asking about India and all that. And we ended up chatting about various things. And she said that, I was recently in Delhi, staying at the Ashoka Hotel in Delhi, buying some raw material for a cancer product that we developed here, a drug for cancer. So what it is it a material of, in India we have neem, we have karela, we have various vegetables. Karela means bitter gourd, and all that, which can be used for the cancer treatment. Anyway, it was nice chatting to Lauren Andrews, and hopefully we'll continue to chat and continue to explore her work and all that. So it was nice meeting you, Lauren, and hopefully we will discuss many other topics about things that is going on between America and India and all that. But for the minute, I'm in the mood to play a track, because it's nearly a time for a track. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track.
देना है तुझको या मर जाना है, जिसका जादू तेरा किस पे चला होगा किसी दिन ये फैसला वो घड़ी आएगी आएगी जाना तूने अभी ये कहाँ जाना है किसे जीना है और किसको मर जाना है
These are the super hit Bollywood songs that I play towards the later half of the program, towards the end of the program. But today I'm going to talk about it very quickly. Another subject that is bugging my head is in this day and age of podcasts, and we still have, not still, but we newly have developed a podcast studio here in our radio studio. What is better? Is it a podcast or broadcast? What's the difference between podcast and broadcast? Please text me at 087-283-2259. And if you prefer to listen a radio or to watch and listen the podcast, what is happening in the world of podcast is that it's a whole. It's like a whole is the word we use regularly in our figure of speech. Is that like a popular thing that if one starts something, everybody follows that. And I'm not in that school of thought at all, actually. I loathe and I hate that, to follow like a flock of sheep, a flock of birds, or I'm not one of those sheep people to follow that. I create my own path. I create my own structure. Now I even creating my own designer suits, would you believe? I design my own suit according to, I come up with a theme and things like that. But in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that what is better? For me, perfectly better is the radio, which I've been around for 30 odd years, doing this radio particular show and all that, and many other shows. So radio is my first love and always will be, always has been. So radio versus podcast, broadcast radio versus podcast. Anyway, which you can all watch on your phones. And this is the invention of technology, that people are now carrying the technology, palm technology in their hand, and they can just, are waiting for the dentist or waiting in the surgery or waiting for something, and they open the phone and they kill the time for a few minutes they have in their hand in order to watch their favorite podcast or to whatever. So that's my question. Anyway, this, by the by, it came in my mind that I saw, that I thought that I must share that with you. And you let me know as well. So I will continue today. And once again, today is a lovely day in terms of many good news, all the way from New York to the India, that we are trying to actually improve the world. The world we live in is, my bottom line is to improve somehow and keep the hope, the flame of hope continue, and indeed get the place better for people. People who are, working, people who have work opportunity, people who study, people this, that, the other, make it a better place for the world to live, because you are here only for a few years. You're not here forever. So make it, we have a beautiful songs in our culture, which I'll play sometime next week. But today, that's if you are living for other people, that's what the life is all about. If you are selfish, just living for yourself, working, doing business or whatever for yourself, accumulating wealth, not distributing, not sharing with other people. Sharing is caring, as we call it here in general. Caring is sharing, sharing is caring and all that. So beautiful thing is that to share everything, your time, if you have time, generously if you have money, generously if you have friendship, laughter. By the way, if you do share laughter, it is proven by a lot of scientists that your life becomes richer by sharing the laughter. Anyway, time is running out very quickly, and I do want to play, before I go, a couple of songs, and I would like to play those songs. And of course, I will wrap up again today with prolific speech of Zohrain Mandani before I leave until next week. But sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track.
से मुझे तेरा प्यार मिला अपनी तो है बस यही दुआ हर जन्म यूं मिल के रहेंगे हर जन्म यूं मिल के रहेंगे That is another beautiful song, Ye Vaada Raha Na Hum Milke Juda, and all that. This is a beautiful song, mostly the songs of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and Rakhi Gulzar. These are the songs that we are playing today. And as I said, I promised you that I will be I'll be playing it for recapping the beautiful news of Zohrain Mandani to become the New York State's mayor, first New York State mayor of immigrant mayor and all that. But this is a beautiful, beautiful moment for the world to realize, and particularly for those who had been actually dominating the politics of New York and, creating. Oh yeah, another news is that the Zionist government have announced that they're shutting down their consulate in New York. They better be, because there is no more lobbying and dominating on the lobby association that exists over there for Israel. Anyway, and he said openly that if Mr. Netanyahu come to New York, I will arrest him and implement the JCD, which is the International Law of Justice, International Court of Justice, ICJ's decree that they have issued on the arrest of this warmonger. Anyway, so sit back and listen to this particular speech from Zohrain Mandani once again, and I say goodbye, and maybe if there's a minute left, I will play another song. But bye for now. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Charmaine, for a lovely item. Thank you, Sharad, for beautiful input about Bihar election, and all my team here in the studio, Richard and all that. So there you go. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular speech.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, It is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Bye for now. Turn the volume up and enjoy the day and enjoy the week and weekends. And I'll be back same time, same place next week. Bye for now.
वादा